Okay, here we are on 2.3, solving absolute value equations, and this is going to be part 1, and we'll do some more tomorrow. So if you'll just take a minute, pause the video, and copy this part down so far, and then we'll come back. Okay, now you've got this copied down, these are our steps we're going to do on each problem, and they're going to be really easy to do. So the first step is check that it equals a positive. Right here, it equals a positive 10, so we check that it equals a positive. I'll tell you what happens if it doesn't equal a positive. Number 2, write as two equations, one positive, one negative. So all you do is the first one you write, you just copy it down and take off the absolute value signs. You don't do anything else. The other one I'm going to write as a negative, and I'm going to write it like this, and I'm going to make this side negative. So I wrote it once as a positive, once as a negative. Now I'm going to solve both equations. So now I come over here to solve this, divide by 2, divide by negative 2. X equals negative 5, and over here, divide by negative 2. X equals positive 5, and we're done. There are 2 answers. That's it. All right, the next one. Absolute value of... So, step 1, check that the absolute value is equal to a positive. Well, right here, it's not equal to a positive. So I'm on step number 1, check if it's a positive. It's not a positive, and we already said that an absolute value can never be negative. So right here on this step, the answer is no solution. It cannot equal a negative. I don't even have to do any more work. I'm done. Okay, number 3. All right, here's our third one. Step 1. Check if it's equal to a positive. Check it's equal to a positive. Write it as 2 equations. X over 9 equals 2. The first one you just take off the symbols, and then the second one you rewrite it, and you change the sign on this side to a negative. Now remember what I said before, anytime you have a number on bottom, I always want you to multiply times whatever's on bottom. And you multiply both sides. So here I'm going to multiply both sides times 9. And this side cancels because 9 divided by 9 is 1. So on this side I get an x, and on this side I get 18. Now I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Multiply times 9, cancels. Multiply times 9, x equals negative 18. Number 4. All right. Check that it's equal to a positive. Check. Write it as 2 equations. One's positive, one's negative. Solve each one. Minus 1. X equals 1. Minus 1. X equals negative 3. Now I do want to point out, up here our answers were 5 and negative 5. Here the numbers are different. So it's not always just going to be the positive and negative the same. Here they're different. All right, number 5. Check that the absolute value is equal to a positive. Check. 4 minus x equals 6. 4 minus x equals negative 6. Write it as 2 equations. Solve each one. So I'm going to go minus 4. And I get negative x equals 2. Now, how do I get rid of this negative here? I do that by dividing by negative 1. So this becomes x, because a negative over a negative is a positive, and 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. All right, let's solve the other one. Minus 4. This cancels. Bring down the negative x equals negative 10. Divide by negative 1. This cancels. X equals positive 10. There's my answers. And one more. Check that it's equal to a positive. 11 is positive. Write it as 2 equations. 3x plus 1 equals 11. 3x plus 1 equals negative 11. Minus 1, minus 1. I'm going to do both of them at the same time, because I like to be fancy like that. 3x equals 10. This cancels. 3x equals negative 12. Divide by 3. Here I get x equals 10 over 3, and here I get x equals negative 12 over 3, and here's something important from here on out. This one is already simplified. You can leave it as the improper fraction. This one's fine. However, we can simplify this one. Negative 12 over 3 is the same thing as negative 4, so we have to simplify it. So these two are my answers.